Hello everyone, welcome to Opiniondash. This time we're going to be covering the results of July and August for Skullgirls brackets. My name is Softy, with me we have Fenster.
Hello, I'm Fenster.
Bananas couldn't make it this for the segment. He's feeling under the weather, so keep him in your thoughts, all that. Later we'll be joined with Bananas and our special guests.
Yep. Our special guest will be Caio Lugon and Willow from the Brazil scene. So keep in mind for that for later.
Cool. All right.
But
so
for now, we're going to cover our normal results.
yeah, so let's dive right into it. We're going to start with Ronaldo-kun's brackets from July. We ran 2 events. We had no big upsets, no giant upsets, expected upsets. First week, Gelato, Fizz, Buckyoyo was top 3. And then the next week we had Buckyoyo take it over Fizz and Ayrshire, but they kind of go back and forth. So that was a good set. I believe that bracket Buckyoyo went all solo squiggly.
Oh, really? Was that?
I think that was the one.
Oh, versus Fizz, and it worked.
Maybe we dropped on the duo, but I think that was the week where he played a lot of solo squiggly.
Okay, like I do remember he went solo squiggly. I just didn't remember him winning with it. Okay, I did have a note there that was a close grand finals, which yeah, definitely is a park clincher. And I just kind of thought it was. I feel like Ayrshire, like I felt like normally he beats Buckyoyo and Fizz, so I thought it was pretty neat that he only got third, and I believe he lost to both of them. So,
I think he kind of. I think he lost to the solo in the winners, to Buckyoyo solo in the winners, and I think the Fizz set was just a really close set.
Yeah. So yep, overall that was actually pretty entertaining for that.
Yeah, and then so for August for Ronaldo-kun's brackets, we had a full month, 4 brackets. We had a lot of people kind of just jumping in who are good players but who don't enter a whole lot. The first week we had Donovan enter. For those who don't know, Donovan's one of the best headless fortunes, I would say. He's at least
he's a very near friend to me, and a bunch of us American players know him. He gets really salty, but he's pretty solid, and normally doesn't enter online tournaments. So it was really good to see him enter here. Yeah, solid fortune, both head on and headless. So it's fortune and squiggly parasol, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
so he's great if you want to watch the VODs. They're really good. That week we had Buckyoyo take a set, 2 sets off of Triviality, which was quite impressive. I think Triviality wins most of the time, so that's pretty good.
I thought that was the cool upset. So just Buckyoyo. Buckyoyo's been getting better in general, but him just really cool to see him finally get those sets versus Triv and beat a demon, so to say.
Yeah, for sure. So that's pretty much the notable result for that week. And then going on to the next week, we had a solo fortune. Sorry if I butchered the name. Queestock, I would believe, probably.
I have no idea how to pronounce his name. I think it's also Queestock.
Queestock would make sense.
If anyone can find Queestock and tell us how to pronounce his name.
Yeah, so this is Queestock's first. It's I've seen online bracket. I know they play, but this bracket they beat Variant, which is good. Yeah, and they beat Noon in the solo fortune mirror, and they took a set off Fizz, which is quite impressive.
Yeah. I've never even seen this fortune player, I think, ever, and they did pretty well. So, apparently after this tournament though, they didn't even get top 3. Actually, you were the one who eliminated them, right?
Yeah. I remember seeing something about I think it might have been in stream chat, just kind of being discouraged after losing. I'm not sure. Some people don't take losses as well.
Yeah, I like to think of it as Softy is the killer of solo dreams.
It's the double is the killer of solo dreams.
Some people think it's a great service, so I can't blame people for thinking that. So, but I was legit happy to see Queestock enter. I do want to make a note of this. There's a lot of solo fortune players coming back in the SG, or coming in right now. You in Europe is not a new player. He's actually been playing for a while, but he has been recently getting better. And we're gonna talk about that later on in the episode. You as a solo fortune in Europe, and there's also a solo fortune who just came back in Oceania called Drip. He used to play SG a lot, but then kind of just you know, he dipped out, but now he's actually back and entering the Rambats and stuff recently in New Zealand, and he's a pretty cool guy, and he's pretty solid. And then we have Sainun, who we talked about on this podcast several times. And like we have these solo fortune. I don't know what it is about this year, but we just have several solo fortune players out of nowhere. So
yeah, and like Cyan in particular is like on and off spotty internet going to college. I can't play a whole bunch anymore, but in his last 2 months, like I've dropped 2 sets to him. Like he's been improving pretty well.
Oh yeah, he's definitely improving.
So outside of the solo fortune menace, that bracket, Ayrshire got the run back on both Fizz and Buck Yo-Yo. So trying to reassert the dominance of like being an online menace.
Yeah. The note I have for this month, for at least for it's not just Ronaldo, but kind of I think also in Simi Great, but just in general, like Ayrshire was kind of entering online tournaments in the previous months, back in like June and May, but I don't think he like really had any dominance, and I feel like this is actually, for some reason now, is like when he's actually been winning a bunch. And kind of just establishing that, like, next to Gelato, like, he's kind of just been beating everyone. Just kind of, like, being the big star. And even, like, close sets versus Gelato as well, you know, so. Ayrshire, like, I think is on the up and up, and I think he plays so many different characters, I don't know what's going on in his mind. Like, when every team, I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, there's so many different, just, like, comps he could run, and what, like Philia, Double, Squiggly, Peacock, and Fortune, right?
And Bayo and Bella.
Oh yeah, you can do Bayo Band.
yeah, like he plays so many like different things that like it's weird. Like a lot of times the teams like just they're not like any established shells either. They're just like whatever things he just makes up. That's always like what's so weird, but usually it's still like pretty solid all around. And the thing I do want to mention is that like Ayrshire, his connection like used to be really memey and bad, but it's okay now. I think
it's not awful.
It's not the best, but like it's definitely not nearly as bad as it used to be. So
for sure.
Yeah.
And kind of just to roll more with the Ayrshire momentum, the next week Ayrshire lost to Triviality in winners and then won grand finals, which was very good.
Yeah. There's a bunch of cool things about that week, but yeah, about the Triviality is that I've seen them play like a bunch in just any other tournaments, and it felt like Triviality would be pretty solid as a player, but for some reason would always just lose to Ayrshire, and I don't know why. Like even though like Triviality could like have a team advantage or character advantage, just whatever it was, something about just the player matchup just made Triviality always lose. So even though Ayrshire won the tournament overall, I was still happy to see like Triviality like just finally beat Arrow in tournament. So that was pretty nice.
And then for the last week of August, we had, it was a bit of a smaller bracket, but we had another special guest. We had Mudkip Guy enter. If you guys play Quick Match, you've probably run into Mudkip Guy occasionally. Bit of a online warrior. Bella, Peacock. One of the Peacock Bellas. You know, TJ Junior.
Peacock Bella.
Mudkip Guy took a set off me in winners, and then I ran it back in losers. But it was good. Gelato did not drop a game the whole tournament.
And I forget? Were you playing different teams when you?
I ran the trio in winners and kind of autopiloted it, and I swapped to duo in losers just to not deal with the ratio, and then I played better. I just like baited out teleports a bit better. That was
basically, I think that was the main thing, was that you didn't realize in winners that he was just teleporting at kind of the exact same spots all the time, and it just took you until like the losers games where you realize like, oh, he's just actually always teleporting, so I can just sit back and just like hit him on the way down.
I'm just awful versus Peacock, and I think that's like one of my team's worst matchups. Like it compounds my weaknesses too, where I'm struggling anyway. But in the second set, I just baited out Bella tags more and all that.
No, it was definitely a good set to watch when you ran. That was. I hope to see more Mudkip Guy in the future, honestly. So.
Yeah, they were fun sets. Okay, and I think that sums up Ronaldo-kun for the 2 months.
Okay. So the next thing we have lined up should be the SoCal Sides tournament. So they actually had some kind of weird stuff going on. In July they had first up the first we had Wing, and we had an actual special guest come in. And their name was Coco. I'm not super familiar with this SG player actually, so if people want to like show me any footage or anything about this player Coco, I would love it. But there were no VODs of this tournament, and not too people really know about it. But apparently Coco was this player from like apparently either Chile or Argentina, and they came to visit for whatever reason. Or play at Salty. They actually like beat Mike, and they actually did pretty well versus Wing 2. But in the end, it was like Wing took it. Second place was Coco, and third place was Mike C.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Wing lost to Mike round 1. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, which I guess I didn't make a note of that, but yeah, that actually happened, and that kind of made Wing a little bit salty, but Wing got his run back later.
It happens. And yeah, Coco also like beat Midi as well. So like,
yeah, no, like Coco was beating everyone, and just kind of he lost versus Wing, but apparently Wing told me that he was a pretty solid player.
That's good.
So
it's good to see hidden bosses pop out.
Apparently he plays Valfilia, and I believe it was with Updo. I don't. Wing was not sure about the assist. I think so.
I feel like you can play that with like Updo or Hairball.
I think it could work either way. Just depends on what you want.
Depends on the style of Val.
Yeah. But yeah, again, footage, and I don't really know this player, so if anyone has or knows Coco, then please like show me or tell me. So.
You roboted out a little bit there.
Oh, if anyone knows Coco, then I'd much appreciate any footage.
Cool. I wonder if like I'm sure they have an online scene in the area. I wonder if there's a YouTube channel out there somewhere.
If there's a Latin America scene besides the Brazil scene, for just other Spanish countries and stuff, then I would appreciate knowing about them, knowing if they do stuff. But they always kind of seem disjointed to me, so I don't really have much about them.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of the individual players, but very few I know who like do any organization or tournaments and stuff. Sometimes there's stuff, but not often. So, anyways, let's move on. So the week after we had Mike C in first, second place Midi, third place Fifi, kind of a standard week results. Then the last week of the month, we actually had another traveler, which was Buck Yo-Yo.
Is that really a traveler? He's SoCal.
Well, I heard that. I'm not sure if he's SoCal or not. I guess he is SoCal, but
I mean, SoCal's big. It could be like a 2-hour drive from his SoCal to their SoCal.
Yeah. From what I heard from Midi was that like the only reason Buck Yo-Yo was around was because he was visiting family in the area.
Okay, makes sense.
So I basically the sense I got was Buck Yo-Yo is too far to travel normally, but for special occasions he could come by and enter. So.
It's really hard to justify like an hour drive to a local when you could just play a good game with good netcode,
Yeah, as someone who actually had an hour drive from my local, it was not really a fun experience. I mean, I still did it because I really want locals experience, but
yeah, I used to drive like 45 minutes for locals because I couldn't play online. But those are the days.
yeah. Definitely, I think things are better nowadays. I would advise anyone to just go to tournaments, but definitely if you're 2 hours away, that's kind of too much for a local. So.
I would like to point out in these 2 weeks we had Booty Zipperoni enter at the Salty. He's active in the Discord, newer player. I'm glad to see them go out.
Okay, and then, they're not a name I'm super familiar with. I didn't realize
they're okay. I think they went like 0-2, but like they're playing. They're engaging, engage the community. That's all they want. And then we had Quickly enter in the.
This is always gonna, this is always gonna be kind of unsaid for Salty, but they actually get like a kind of like rotation of just like new players who just like kind of started playing the game or just not very experienced, but like it's going to change on who it is depending on the month or the year, but like they actually have a good rotation of just newer players always come into SoCal. That's why like it's like we don't always talk about them because the top results for the top 3 are usually the same, but they always get a bunch of new players, so I don't think there's really any problem with like getting new blood for them. So happy to see that they came by, so
for sure.
Speaking of newer players, there's also Quigley, who like I've actually seen Quigley in a bunch of like online tournaments and stuff. I don't know where they live. I guess they're from SoCal because they entered Salty. and I think they entered some salties after as well. So
I
don't know
believe
too much about
Quigley's from San Diego just, or at least wasn't before, but just moved into San Diego for college.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, either way, still happy to see Quigley. Still happy to see these newer players get into these locals. But yeah, anyways, to continue with the results, Buck Yo-Yo came by, and he actually won, which is like, I think that's just a surprise since that's the kind of matchup we don't see very often is an online player like Buck Yo-Yo play against the mostly local players, which is most of the people at Salty. But yeah, we had Buck Yo-Yo winning, had a close set versus Sunset, who did well, and then third place was Midi, also who had a pretty good set versus Buck Yo-Yo, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, so that was it for July for Salty. Then we have August. Go through these quickly. We have, in the first week, we have Wing in first, then Mike Z, then third place Red Witch. And this week was actually pretty noticeable because Red Witch actually beat Mike Z in winners. Mike Z got the run back later on, but as is something we've always kind of bring up before, but a lot of the other players do challenge and beat Mike Z kind of more often these days than they used to. So Mike Z really can't be that complacent.
I think the fact that everyone like in the scene can trade sets like up or down is very fun. Like, you know, it's like they're all growing at like a similar rate. Like only Mike can beat Wing, but Wing can still lose to Mike, and people can beat Mike, so it's very dynamic.
Yeah, I just think people have not gone to that point where they've been able to take the sets off Wing. That whatever it is they have the download on Mike, they just need to apply that level of effort and stuff to beat Wing. I really believe in them. I think they can do it, but that's on them for them to like push themselves. So hopefully it's coming. So then we also have the last week of Salty B-Sides, which was first place we had Sane, aka Victoria, aka Dragons in My Sky. You know, she does a lot of great art on Twitter and etc. Plays solo Eliza. We've talked about her sometimes. She kind of infrequently joins, but this week she entered and she actually won. She lost in winners, but got the run back in losers actually. So Sane beat Mike Z, and then Mike Z got second place, and then third place was Fifi. So overall, this kind of month was kind of like, not that we need more evidence of SoCal like taking it to Mike Z, but yeah, Mike Z really can't be complacent anymore, I think, in SoCal, really.
I wonder how much time he has to grind with Indivisible in like the final stages.
He's definitely been busy Indivisible, so hopefully like after Indivisible, like hopefully he can get more time and start freshen up his game, you know. So. But with that, let's move on to Be Great.
All right. So for Be Great in July, our first week, we had a fun bracket. It was another kind of gimmick team tournament. Unfortunately, there's only 2 entrants. They didn't have much hype. And I'm trying to remember
who the teams were.
Okay, so
I don't.
We Irrigating was me, Bonanz, and Rabble.
Okay.
And I don't remember the other team.
3 extra chromosomes. It must be some tournament where you don't remember the opponents.
I don't think I got to play. I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Was it?
I don't
Bonanza
remember.
on point, or do you remember?
Oh, okay, never mind. I remember. Okay, so this was Dajin and then Jajin's 2 friends.
Oh, okay.
And I was on point, and Bonanz and Rabble didn't get to play.
Okay. Yeah.
That was a little. I mean, it was fun. You know, I love the team tournaments. They're hype. It's just hard to.
Did they explain their team name, 3 extra chromosomes?
I think they're just mewing.
Okay, because random biology effect, but having extra chromosomes is usually actually kind of bad for you genetically. Yeah. So
yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, so like, let's not dwell on it too much, but like, yeah, if someone out there, if someone on their team actually has extra chromosomes, please see it your nearest geneticist. So,
yeah. So the next week we had, Tom Aiken and Tora entered. Let's see, and then Training Wheels and Aeroshar. Oh, I remember this bracket. Okay, so we had a lot of different people entered, and then Tome's internet is a little questionable.
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. It's fun to play, but it's pretty bad. Sorry, man.
He is not a bad player. He's kind of wild, but he definitely has bad.
So yeah, so Ayrshire lost the set in winners on game 5 and probably tilted out because of the connection, and then he dropped.
Yep.
But
That's exactly it.
more importantly, Training Wheels taking the set over Missing No was impressive to me.
Yeah.
That was good.
No, definitely.
And then
Training Wheels
Dajin
was,
getting
like,
the set off
definitely-
Sai.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Training
This
Wheels
is a
is on
minor
the come
note,
up.
but there's also this player Kakwa. I don't think a lot of people know him, but if I remember right, I think this is actually a player from like way back in like when I was running SBATs, or like back when SBATs on PC was like
Oh,
with like POS Industries and Elkidori.
yeah.
Like I think I remember this guy's crazy name. He was a solo big band, or like played like point big band with like other things. I forget, one of the two. But like yeah, I just remember this weird name like Kalakakwa. It was so weird, and I hope it's the same guy because that was a really interesting name. I could be mixing up with a different player with a very similar name like Mala Kakwa or something, but it's a crazy name and that's what stood out to me. So.
All right. And then the next week we had a bit of a small week. Unfortunately, the week that Wing Zero enters online bracket, no one else enters.
Yeah. So I did make a note of that. That kind of sucked.
Yeah, there's not much to talk about really. Mizuno taking a game off of Wing, I guess, in Grands. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Just in general, Missing No and Sainoon have a little bit, not like a big rivalry, but like Sainoon beat Missing No once in that we talked about this before, like in earlier, I think back in May or June. It was some tournament where Sainoon got the reset on Missing No. Didn't realize that tournaments work by getting a grand finals reset. He just thought like he just had to win one set. And then when he was told about winning the reset, he just lost badly. he was off his game, and ever since he's basically never been Missing No.
That's really funny. Holy shit.
So yeah. So kind of feel bad for him there, but I always like want to pay attention to these two. But here Missing No beat Sainoon again. So
Okay.
maybe one day Sai.
I accidentally skipped a week, and the week before it was actually an interesting bracket. JP entered and defended the championship over Ayrshire. Took two. He beat me in Ayrshire, and Ayrshire took him to game 5, both sets, but JP won.
Okay,
So that's good.
Alright, good.
It's always good to have people. I think it's nice that even though we don't have everyone enter all the time, we get like a variety, and it's fun to see like people bounce back and forth.
Yeah. Though it would be cool to kind of see like JP play against Wing and
Yeah, that'll
against
never
or
happen.
against Time A and all this stuff. Maybe at once we can get them all at the same tournament. But yeah. Anyways, let's move on to August for B grade.
Oh, there was one gimmick bracket.
Oh.
So like
Is
the
there-
5th bracket of the month, they did a
Oh, I missed that.
best of
Okay,
one
yeah.
single elim.
Oh, that is.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything notable about it. If you had any.
I wasn't there. I didn't feel like entering. Facade entered. That was notable, I guess. Facade got back and played
Yeah.
more.
It's always good to see Facade.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to tilt out and be like mad about the internet when it's a single elim best of one.
Yeah, single limb is just not.
BB
worth
tag
it.
style. Okay. And then. Alright, so for B grade in August, first week, Ayrshire, Triv, and then me as the top 3. Hold on, let me pull it right
I had nothing super notable about that week, yeah.
Nope, nothing special about that one. Yeah, Ayrshire beating Triv is pretty good, I suppose. It's a bit of a he's holding the bracket demon
Yeah,
status.
he's just holding it up. It's what I said earlier. Airshire's just been kind of holding it together lately.
Okay, and then the next month the next week I won the bracket. No one else entered, so it was me and Sai trading sets for.
Yeah, you
For
said this
the-
before, but you guys were trading sets, and you took it in grand finals, and that was nice.
I don't remember what happened in winners finals. I honestly don't. But then in grand set 1, I just played my full trio and I 3-0'd, and then I didn't want to think anymore. And I know Sai would fall apart to my zoner ban because he always
Yes,
does.
this is what I remember is zoner ban.
I played. I don't remember if I played Robo or if I played Fukua, but I just banned point with like Fukua L Dart or Robo H Beam, and just I don't know. So people gotta
I think
find.
it was just symbol spam, right?
I mean, it's simple spam plus assists, and I mean, you gotta find the gaps. It's like just a pure knowledge execution check. It's
Yeah.
sometimes it's what you need to win a set.
For some reason, for Sai, like Sai's not like really bad, but like when you play really dumb big band, he just loses his mind. I don't know why.
I mean, Sai likes to press buttons, and Big Band does it better.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Okay.
The next week we had Full Bleed enter, which was cool.
Yeah.
Let's see, Full Bleed lost to Gelato twice, but like I'm pretty sure they were interesting sets.
Mm-hmm.
No, let's see. Yeah, Hydra entered, but not a whole lot of people entered.
Yeah, it wasn't super high entrant week, but it was just nice to see that Full Bleed. I've been trying to get him to enter online tournaments, and he finally did. So, turned out he did it okay. It's kind of a standard result still, but I'm just happy to see Full Bleed turn out. Full Bleed has been getting better. He has been kind of grinding the game a bunch, trying to get Philly on his team really working, and I think it's been going well.
Philly's been on the team for like over a year now, right?
I don't think it's been a year yet, but it has been a while. Yeah. So.
Like at this, I don't remember what he played before Philly.
He went between like first it was a trio with he used to play Fortune with Big Band just duo,
Mm-hmm.
and then he took off Fuku and was kind of like just duo for a bit, I think, and then he added on Philia.
Okay, yeah, sure, that works. That's a good trio. So
yeah, he really likes the Fortune hairball stuff, which is really good.
I hate it.
Yeah.
It hits the head. I hate it.
It hits the head in a perfect way for headless, basically, because it sends the head far and puts it on like low cooldown. Just a godsend in both of those ways.
It's like, yeah, you call it neutral, and sure, they might not be blocking it, but they're blocking the head, and Fortune runs in at you. It's rough.
Yeah.
All right. The next week we had Minivan enter, which is nice. We got some Minivan winning after the run back versus Buck Yo-Yo from Salty.
Yeah.
Did not quite get it. He did get one game in Grands, 1 set in Grands, but then Buck won the second set.
Yeah, like the grand finals were actually like really close, and it was pretty fun to watch, honestly. But yeah, Mini was not able to take it out, so.
All right,
and we had Variant in third.
Yeah, that was good. Variant got third. Let's see, any notable W's?
Yep.
Yeah, that was good. All right, and that sums up the grade for those 2 months.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's move on to PSN Skull Bats really quick. And there's kind of not much to say actually, because and this is as far as I know, when I asked and when I looked up the places for brackets, I only had like one bracket, and the bracket was filled out, but it didn't have have any advancements in it. It had 4 players. It had Wandering Tomberry, Ralph, Nano the Unwanted, and Shaky Fingers. And I'm going to presume Shaky won just because Shaky's typically who wins the PSN brackets. And I have no idea beyond that who really could have won or did well. And there were no VODs. If anyone really knows what happened with this bracket, please tell me.
They haven't been streaming much, right?
No, like their last VODs were basically from the end of June.
That's unfortunate.
So, yeah, and then as I put down for August, they actually have nothing at all for August. So
maybe
not even a bracket.
Like, did you ask in there in the Discord?
I asked some people, and I'm not in the Discord, so like I can't ask myself. And I asked some people to like check for me, and I didn't get much response. As far as I saw, there was like nothing. If someone else ran it, someone can double check me on this, and I'll fill it out later. But yeah, no, my typical sources did not tell me much about this. So.
That's unfortunate. I know they bounce around who runs it, so it's not always the same like user on challenge.
I figured it was someone else who ran it, and that's why I just wish I could keep up with that.
Yeah, but like normally they always stream off the same account, right?
They do, and there was no. Unfortunately, there was like no. At least when I looked it up, maybe I just missed it because it has been a while since we checked up on it. So.
Okay.
But yeah, my apologies to PSN Skull Bats. Hopefully, you guys had the stuff out there, and we'll put it in the results docs later if you have. But with that, let's move on to Escaping Workforce. So Escaping Workforce had some pretty interesting stuff. In July, they ran one bracket, which was a pretty interesting bracket. It actually had a bunch of people. I don't know if money was on the line here. I presume there was because we actually had PME enter. PME normally doesn't enter online SG tournaments unless there's some money involved, I think. And we actually had in first place Rabble Flaggers, second place PME, and third place Gelato. And it was actually this is actually a pretty fun bracket to watch overall because Gelato beat Rabble in winners, but Rabble actually had a really good losers run and got the run back versus Gelato, and then when he played in grand finals versus PME, lost the first 2 games, and I thought like, oh man, he's cooked, but then just took the next 6 games straight. Honestly, pretty impressive, and it looked like PME just kind of fell apart as the set went on. So it was good stuff to Rabble. Pretty good bracket all around. So I believe it had eye control also doing pretty well. So yeah, it was fun to watch for that bracket. And then we have Escaping Workforce in August, where we had the first week we actually had Softy here in first place. Second place was JMD. And third, Kiom. I don't know how to pronounce that. But yeah, that's where I want Softy to talk about his sets versus JMD.
Yeah, so the winner's set was just kind of not a wash, but like I stole like game 1 and I held the whole time. That's kind of how Skullgirls goes. Like I'm sure I robbed him the first game. I think it was like a really whack comeback, and then that's the game, you know. And I held back for 3 games. In grand finals, he was up 2-0. He switched from A-Train to Giant Step, I believe.
Yeah, he was playing A-Train before, Val A-Train, and then he played Val plus H Giant Step, right?
They're both like really good for Val. For Val. I mean, like I have to jump to contest Val, you know, or else you just die. And then A-Train says no.
Yeah.
But Giant Step like similar in that it has a gigantic anti-air hitbox on it, but you also can't stay on the ground.
Yes.
And it's an overhead. It's actually
really
like a top 10 assist. It's just
it's actually really underexplored, honestly. I seen some robos use this assist, and it's pretty nutty. So
yeah, so I was down 2-0 in first set of grands, and then I think I like recomposed with them. I think I switched to duo, just to I was exploding off of like a 1 or 2 bad mistakes. So I wanted to give myself some padding, and it's really easy to drop pain wheel off the team. So
yeah, but that makes sense. It was close, but it was pretty fun to watch. Just the different team switch to throw you off, but then you kept your composure, and then you took it back.
So they were fun games.
Yeah, no, that was fun. Then the next week we have. This is actually a week I did not even see at all, and I couldn't find the VODs at all. But we had first place was a player called the Starman. Second place was Variant. And third place was Despicable Humans. I actually don't know who the first and third place players are at all, and I wish I saw the bracket to know who they are.
The Starman entered the previous week.
Okay.
Lost to Kiam and Latino Flava.
Yeah, I don't really know them at all. I really didn't see them, so I don't know what they play. So hopefully someone can give me any information about that. I definitely don't think I've seen Despicable Humans before, because that's a very interesting name.
That's some kill all humans level stuff, you know?
Yeah, basically. So, but oh well. And that's it that we have for Escaping Workforce. So good stuff. Next we have Chicago. So Chicago actually had some interesting stuff going on. So in July, we actually had Adavace turn up for one of the weeks of Ignite. At the week, Adavace actually won that tournament, so it was Adavace in first, second place was Gelato, and then third place was Custom Bombs. Kind of standard results after that. Just kind of notable, just because like Adavace kind of, I think in that set, just kind of washed Gelato pretty cleanly. And I think that was the reason Adavace entered was because of what happened next week, which is they actually had a special guest of Mike Z. He actually came by there on Dizzy. Came by to Kai's house and played a bunch of the SG sets with everyone. So at the tournament, we actually had first place was Adavace again, second place was Gelato again, and third place was Toluda.
Is Adelaide beating Toledo is actually very unexpected for me.
Adabase actually beat Toluca at Frosty's. So in general, like I would agree with you. I think personally I would like favor Toluca, but like yeah, Adabase had been Toluca before, so maybe he just has some read in that matchup. So that's why I didn't think it was like super surprising. Adabase is definitely solid enough that he could do it. So yeah, Adabase actually managed to take it. I believe when I saw this, that grand finals, I think Jalala was doing better than before. But still managed. Adabase still clutched it out.
It was still game 5.
I think.
Yeah, that was grands in actually. So for the previous week, both sets were game 5, and then same with this week.
Yeah. Everything was the game 5. Yeah, so just good sets all around. Yeah. And then yeah, like I think this is actually the first time Gelato actually beat Toluca in tournament. He's been trying to crack at either that or it's really rare for Gelato to beat Toluca in tournament. So Gelato, I definitely know, has been trying to grind things out and get better. So glad to see that he finally got it. There was other fun things, like we didn't even talk about Mike Z, but yeah, Mike Z actually entered, kind of did okay, but he actually lost to a local player called Mars. Some people may remember Mars from online and being a solo big band. Yeah, Mike was not very happy when he lost to Mars, so it was pretty funny when he lost to just a solo. I definitely have dreams of like Mike just losing to a solo band, and that the set was pretty wild.
It's just cathartic. It's payback.
It's a bit cathartic, yeah. Like I like Mike. I kind of wanted him to win. Just
yeah.
I do like seeing Mike and I want him to do well, but like at the same time, losing to a solo band. This is the thing you created, Mike. This is your creation.
So ratios like the rest of us.
Yeah. So yep, that was pretty fun overall for the month of July. The month of August, there basically wasn't anything for Chicago. And keep in mind when I say that they actually have locals going on all the time. It just so happens to be that they didn't run brackets. So if you are in the Chicago area or know people in the Chicago area, then please like tell people to go show up to locals because they are running things and they're getting big. They're getting like so many new players. It's wild. They're really active. They have like 3 or 4 different locals or something. It's crazy. But they're getting more locals and more players. They're just not running brackets. So. Oh well. But with that, we finish off our American results. So let's move on to Japan. So this is where like the translations are getting to me. I tried contacting FTD, our normal translator, for these things, and he got to me for some of the months, but he did not get to me for the month of August. So I don't have the August results. I do have the tweet of the results, and they have the bracket, but I can't read it at all.
Yeah, we're losing FTD to Chianti Fight Club.
Yeah, I think we're losing him to much better fighting games. But yeah, if anyone knows Japanese really well and wants to hit me up with the translations, I'm all for it. So in the meantime, I'm still waiting on FTD. But I did get the results for July though. So let's talk about July. In first place, we have Komakichi. Kind of normal result. Komakichi considered second best. Second place was Cannibal Camel. Third place was Bankarge. Fourth place was this. This is actually a recurring player who I have no idea who they are, but their name is Idol Club Fan. Like, I've never even seen them play, but they always enter with this name in brackets, and they always seem to do pretty well. So, I'm just always left wondering who is the Idol Club Fan here.
And maybe it's like just like the dark mode of another regular player, you know, like they had a few drinks before they entered.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not gonna lie. When I first read the name, I thought like, is this like Fuzzy Snugs? Like. Or something.
Hit him with the Nico Ni, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so then fifth place we actually have a player whose like name was so Japanese that like FTD couldn't read it, I guess. Like
just phonetically.
Yeah, I think like some names are like that. Apparently it's pronounced Shuno. I don't know at all. Don't ask me about this. That's how it was given to me. But yeah, Shuno, I have no idea what they were. Sixth place we have I actually don't know this player, Taken Nobori. I again, another player I've not really seen very much. Seventh place we have Hebinawa, who some people know his art, solo Squiggly player. And then we eighth place we have Kusadoma. So they overall, oh yeah, they're basically the thing about Japan is they actually have a lot of different players, and they always enter with random gimmicks. So, a lot of these names might not even be their real names.
What is this? Get in the bath with me?
Yeah. So this is what I want to know is that there was a player who entered the tournament as "Get in the bath with me," which I don't know who that player actually is, but I mean, who's gonna say no to that? So, but yeah, and that covers the month of July for Japan. We don't have we have their results, but we can't translate them for August. So again, if anyone can translate that stuff for us, please let me know. I'd like to actually put that in the results and figure things out. But in the meantime, let's just move on. So next we have Oceania. So Oceania's actually kind of been shuffling a bit. So I believe in the month of June, if I remember right, that's when like Jedi was kind of like mostly still on a roll. But I think the case for both of these months overall has just been Jedi kind of taking things some weeks, but actually been losing to other players. First week we have Jedi winning in the standard order of Jedi first, Mao second, Risking third. But in the next week afterwards, Mao actually took it over Jedi pretty solidly. And then after that, Jedi didn't enter for the rest of July. And kind of not much to say other than the last week of July, we actually had Mao first, Caducean second, and third place was Age. This is actually a notable week because they took it over both Chimps and Age. Which, by the way,
Those are some good W's, you know?
Yeah, basically, like Kadu's always kind of like had some good W's, but like, he always managed to like get third. He never got second, and he still had, I think, a pretty good set versus Mao. And Kadu's always been like training. He's always been like finding tech and stuff and exploring. So good stuff to Kadu. And yeah, just want to point this out that like Chimps, who came on our podcast last episode and came on here and said like, oh yeah, I'm third best in the region. He's actually like been losing to a bunch of other players, especially like lower in bracket, starting with Caducean here and lost in the other weeks following. So I think he lost twice to Kadu in 1 week, so I think he's on notice now. Like, you can't be saying you're third best in the region and then be losing to all these different kind of players, bro. So, Chimps is officially on notice, is what I'm saying. But alright, that covers it for July. And then in August, that's actually where we have kind of the same thing, but more. So we have Jedi taking the first week in a normal order, Jedi first, Mao second, Chimps in third. And then after that, that's when we see some interesting results. The next week was Age in first, CJ in second, and then Mao in third. This is surprising because like CJ actually did super well the whole bracket, actually beating Mao. I believe no, it wasn't twice. I think Mao lost to Age in winners, but still CJ did super well. He was on fire that week. The week after, Age won again, and this time Age actually took it over Jedi. So first place was Age, second place Jedi, third place was Shuffle. So kind of what's notable is that Age he beat Jedi a couple of times way last year when he was playing Eliza Double, and then after he beat Jedi a couple of times, he just switched teams. But now Age is back to his Eliza Double, and now he's beating Jedi again, as he did before. So, and then the week after, we actually have Mao in first, Jedi second, and Caducean third. And this week was noticeable because not only did Jedi lose to Mao, but Jedi lost to Caducean in winners, actually. So, honestly, really surprising overall. Like, Jedi's been bleeding. That's kind of the whole thing we could say about these past 2 months in Oceania, is that Jedi's been bleeding a lot. And it's pretty good to see. Then the last week, we actually have another kind of funny result. We have Mao in first, CJ in second, and then No Funny Name in third. This is actually a pretty funny week just because like Nafi's a really new player. As far as I know, I've not really seen him that much. He usually doesn't even get any top placings. But here he actually managed to beat CJ in winners. So just kind of coming out of nowhere, and he I don't know what it was, but everything just went right for him in winners, and then he kind of got blown up in losers. But it was still pretty entertaining to watch. Overall, like Oceania, like they've been really challenging. A lot of players been stepping it up lately in the past couple months and making Jedi bleed, and don't know what's gonna go on. So yeah, overall, Oceania really solid July and August. So okay. With that, let's move on to Oceania YSB. To cover these really quickly, both these weeks we actually had Risky winning in first place, and then kind of another player in second place, and then third place with Pepsi. That's literally both July and August was this very similar result. Kind of just interesting though is that like just this new player Pepsi has just been doing well. He's actually a Bayo brass player, which I know is a pretty normal team for other regions to deal with, but not Oceania has a player who plays it. Chimps used to play it, but kind of dropped it. But Pepsi's been sticking with the team, and he's doing pretty solid with it. He'll pick A-Train sometimes, but he's still kind of obviously like getting used to the combos and everything. So. But with that, yeah, we covered YSB. They've been holding it up with Risky, taking first place. All right, then let's quickly move on to Europe. So, Europe is they've got a lot of things going on. So let's start with the Europe SBATs. They only had 2 weeks in July. Kind of just normal results. Mr. Peck taking first place, and then some other players kind of rounding out the results after that. Not really too much to really say here, other than Sinclair has been entering the events. She didn't get top placings, but she was started entering events again, which is
That's good.
Also, Zanif entering Skull Bass. He usually enters when he can. Got second place in the first week. First week was actually like Mr. Peck in first, Zanif in second, and Ranger in third. Pretty normal results, honestly. So, but yeah, overall just pretty standard for SBATs in July. In August, we actually had some funny results going on. So first we have in the first week, first place was Sinclair, second place was Sanji, and then third place was Mr. Peck. And here's the funny thing is that it was actually a three-way tie for the first place. Like they actually all got first place, and they all had like 6 wins and 1 loss. And it was Sinclair beat Sanji, and Sanji beat Mr. Peck, but Mr. Peck beat Sinclair. and because of the way like things work with these two brackets, some players are valued more than others, and etc. So that's why like it says Sinclair won and Sanji got second. It was just pretty funny that they all basically got first. And funny too was that for second place it was I believe it was like Toffle, Magic, and Gone to Heaven. And like they also tied for second place basically. They all had 4 wins and basically 3 losses. So overall, like kind of things are just evening it out in Europe, which is pretty cool to see. They're all doing well, so I'm pretty happy to see everyone kind of improving and holding up there. Then the next week we have Mr. Peck in first, second place Big Tony, and third place was Magic. I think it's just notable just because in general Big Tony doesn't normally enter SBATs these days, so I was just happy to see him enter and do well. Then the last week we actually had Mr. Peck in first, second place Gone to Heaven, and third place Lunatic. Lunatic, I believe, doesn't normally enter SBATs, but he's actually a pretty known player. He'll enter the Eurofights, enters the offlines and stuff, so I'm just happy to see Lunatic. He played a lot of other games, but didn't know what to main, and then he finally decided to just land on SG, and now he really likes SG. So, ever since he's stuck to SG, he's been improving a lot, as he got third place right here. So, shout out to Lunatic.
It's always good to see someone put in the effort and get rewarded like quickly. You know, sometimes people put in effort for so long and they get like diminishing returns. It's always like satisfying to see someone get it pretty fast.
Yeah, basically. I think it also helps too that he's been picking up Gelato's team.
I mean, that team's really good.
Yeah. Like if there's any team that like is helping him out, is that he's got a really good team guy. Yeah. All right, that's it for Skullbats. And next we're gonna quickly move on to the Eurofights. There were 2 Eurofights, and they're pretty similar. So I'm gonna try and speed through the results a bit. Basically, Mr. Peck won both times. Kind of following down is when we have kind of normal results. The first in July we had Mr. Peck first, second Big Band Pro 69, third place Ranger, fourth place Sanji, fifth place Mr. Boars, sixth place Buzzer Zero, seventh place Magic, and last place, eighth place is a knife. Kind of normal results, but it was just nice to see Big Band Pro actually enter online results again, because he typically just hasn't. He's just been sticking mostly to random skull bats or like just playing in offlines, but haven't seen him enter an actual like Eurofight in a long time. So I was happy to see that, and he had some pretty nutty games as you would expect for a Bayo band.
So many bands in Europe. Oh my god.
Yeah.
5 of the 8 people played band in top 8.
Yeah. I think maybe I didn't. I was planning on making a note for that, but like yeah, just so many like bands or squigglies. Like it's just hard to contain all this.
Sounds like my worst nightmare. Peacock bands and squigglies.
Peacock bands and squigglies. Yeah. So. And then we had the other Eurofight in August, which was Mr. Peck in first, second place Ranger, third place Magic, fourth place Ravioli, fifth place Mr. Boars, sixth place Buzzer Zero, seventh place Bombad, and eighth place Lunatic. Lunatic entering both weeks, and again, just him still on that grind and gradually improving as he's ironed out his team. But still, overall, kind of normalish results. So, okay stuff for Eurofight. And next we have, there are actually some offlines we got to talk about for Europe. So in July there was Viennality. So I'm not gonna spend a super long time talking about Viennality, but I really want to because it was actually a really cool tournament, really fun. The venue was super sick. Ultra Day had a video about it, and it was just a really cool venue. And yeah, just a really fun tournament. Everyone had a lot of fun there. And it had some pretty interesting results. So let's just try and quickly condense these results. First place was Big Band Pro 69. Second place was Big Tony. Third place was Sanji. Fourth place was Ravioli. Fifth place was Rex. Sixth place was Nephros. Seventh place was Toffel. And eighth place was Dio. So to kind of quickly go down why these results were interesting. For one, we can see that like Nephros, who normally like plays and like he's kind of like a big demon, usually when winning most of the tournaments he enters in Europe, actually got like pretty low placing. And kind of what happened was he actually lost to Ravioli in winners. And it was a super, I don't want to say like dominant game, but like Ravioli played very well. He switched to his Fuqua big band team, and it was honestly just being outplayed. Like Ravi just had the reads. He got so many Fuqua air grabs in neutral against Nephros. It was kind of silly looking, honestly. Like, I know it's Fuqua's not a character who normally just goes up and does air grab, but
yeah,
she honestly kept working out. So
it's like Neff plays foul squiggly, right? So
yeah,
I find that squiggly jump light kick can be hard to challenge sometimes, even with the chop. But sometimes like the angle's right, throw is a better option.
Yeah, I think like it was mostly against the Val he was throwing.
Okay.
But still, yeah, I think like he just used, like he got Nephros so used to blocking all the air buns, and Nephros was just so scared that like he just started air throwing him and just getting so much off of it. It was pretty fun to watch just to see how solid Ravi was playing. But in the end, like Ravioli was only got fourth place sadly, and Nephros lost in losers to Alex, who ended up or Big Band Pro 69. Who ended up winning the tournament. Big Band Pro had really good sets overall, beating Sanji, beating Tony, and then taking first place. Like he in winner side, like Big Band Pro is trying to play Team Sev, point Bayo, second double, and then anchor band. But then in losers bracket, that's when Big Band Pro went with the good old classic Bayo band, Bayo brass stuff. That's what won the tournament. Tony tried several different teams, or he tried Solo Squiggly too, but nothing was working out for the Bayo band. So it was kind of good to just see like a different result than normal, and it was pretty interesting overall. Glad to see players like Toffel and you, who I believe this is both of their first like majors that they like got, like they went to, and they both got top 8 here. So it was pretty fun to see. So yeah. If you want to see more, please check out their they actually had their own podcast for Viennality. It was a really fun tournament, and they had really fun experience. I wish I could have gone, and yeah, check it out. I promise you, it's cool. And then we had another offline later on. Another offline I wish I went to was Nefland, which I think if people don't know, Nefland is basically Nefros has a big ass house, and he just hosts a lot of people in his house for like 2 weeks.
Oh wow!
And yeah, like everyone actually stays there for like a long time. They have like they play like a lot of different games, like not just fighting games, just like playing all of these board games and other things for a long time. It's a really cool experience, and everyone has a lot of fun there. Kind of like just a big vacation. And they run brackets sometimes. So they ran a bracket here for SG. In first place we had Nefros. Second place we had Poiv. Third place we had Sanji. Fourth place we had Big Man Pro 69. Fifth place Myanmu. Sixth place Silly Old Dragon. Seventh place Bombad. And eighth place Ippolit. I don't want to spend too long talking about the results here too, but this is kind of just when Nefros, I don't want to say God's redemption, but kind of holding solid here, doing pretty well overall. Big Man Pro stuck with the trio. He stuck with the Bayo double band team here. Didn't really quite work out for him here, but he still did okay, I guess. So, and this is when Poiv, I think this is the first tournament he did Fuqua, Big Band, and Pain Wheel for his team. So I guess that team's kind of working out for him. But yep, that's it for Nefland. There's actually 3 different kumites that we don't have enough time to talk about. There's a kumite for you, the solo fortune I talked about before. There is a kumite for Smile, a Squigman player in Europe, who's some people may know him. He's an artist, and he's a pretty good player. And there's also a kumite for Gone to Heaven, Russian player who we've talked about some of the Europe results rather. And all 3 of these kumites is pretty interesting. Had some fun stuff going on. We're gonna just, for sake of time, we're not gonna talk about them too long.
I do want to, like, as we glance over, I do want to briefly mention that I think it's really cool that Europe runs all the kumites for their players. Like, North America hasn't ran a kumite in so long. Just no one organizes it. Like, the last person who tried was Turon. You know, it wasn't as much like drive and like people playing. So it's cool Europe does this.
I think they basically do them as a birthday celebration. Mm-hmm. That's the primary reason. But yeah, no, it's still fun and cool. Outside of Europe, we don't really see that many kumites anymore. So
maybe we can change that.
We could. So hopefully other regions start picking up on it. All right. So then with that, let's move on to our last region of results we're going to talk about, which is Brazil. So we're gonna cover a Brazil tournament, an offline Brazil tournament later. But for right now, we're just going to stick to the online tournament. So, in the month of July, there were 2 different brackets. Again, they ran one Swiss and then one double elimination bracket. In the Swiss bracket, it was Acido in first, Jorge in second, and then Babylonia Returner in third. Kind of just really standard result. I couldn't really think of anything special that happened here. And then in the double elimination bracket, we had Acido in first, Jorge in second, and Kima in third. The important thing to know is that for both these weeks, we have Acido kind of returning, and actually doing well in the online stuff. He was gone for, I believe, June, so it was good to see Acido come back.
I think Acido's definitely on the grind for their like big event in September.
Yeah, which we're gonna get to later.
Okay, the next one.
yeah. So, but yeah, Acido kind of did well here, obviously. And in that bracket, we also have Kima. I am not super familiar with the Brazil players. Hopefully, we can clarify this later. But we had Kima beating Plaxcaster. As far as I knew, I always thought Plaxcaster was actually pretty solid, like up there with Jorge. Pretty solid player. So I was surprised to see Kima's not bad, but I don't see Kima beating Plaxcaster very often. So Kima getting third, I thought was actually seemed like pretty notable. So yeah, overall seemed like okay results for July. Next we're gonna go over quickly the August results. So again, for their Swiss brackets, we had Noah in first, Kima second, and third place was Shovel. Shovel, I just want to make a shout for having a great, funny name, and it confusing for a lot of Europe players, because in Europe, I don't know why this meme started out, but in Europe they call Squiggly's H dive kick they call it the shovel move, like because it digs up, I guess, or something.
Yeah, it's a grave
I'm not
digger.
sure. It's some big meme for Europe, but they all think about shovel as being squiggly related. So they see the player called Shovel, and a lot of them are like confused, like, wait, Shovel, like, oh, does he play squiggly? But he doesn't at all. He plays like, I think he plays like Peacock and Fukuwa. It's Peacock and something. I don't super remember. But yeah, he does not play squiggly at all, and that confused some people. And I thought that was pretty fun. But yeah, Noah also coming back and doing pretty well, which is pretty entertaining. I like seeing Noah play. Definitely, I like seeing his parasol. I like seeing him keep up with it. So, and then the last week we have another double Elam bracket, which is again that's a normal result. It has Acido in first place, second place Jorge, third place Plexcaster. Again, kind of like what I said, I kind of usually see Plexcaster as like third place or even second place, kind of up there with like Jorge. He's a pretty solid player, so kind of a normal result this week. So good stuff to Brazil, and we will talk about their big event, which happened in September, but we're going to talk about that after the break. So
yep.
But that's all the results we have now. We want to combine everything for here, just so we can catch up a bit, and quickly talk about the big Brazil tournament later on. So
yeah, we're fully caught up on results now. No more backlog, and I believe that's all we have for results. So we'll have a bit of a break. We'll return with our special guests, Kyle Lugan and Will, and Bonanza will be with us as well.
Okay, yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the interview. Today we're going to be joined by two special guests. We have Kyle and Will joining our regular hosts. Also, I'm back. Hello, everyone.
Welcome back, Bonanza.
Yep. So, Kyle and Will, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves real quick?
Well, I think Kyle can go first since he's been there since the beginning.
Okay, so, like, where do I start?
Start with like, was SG your first fighting game? You know, tell us about yourself. Like,
so I've been playing fighting games for I think since 2011.
oh wow.
My first game was Marvel 3.
Ooh.
I used to play Marvel 1 as a kid,
Oh
and
my gosh.
I got back into it when Marvel 3 came out.
Okay. Who would you play in Marvel 3? Can I ask?
I played a bunch of people like for as long as I played.
Okay.
But like at the end of it, I was main Iron Fist. I usually just play like the Iron Fist character in every game I play. So.
Okay.
But yeah, after I picked up Marvel 3, yeah, I found Skullgirls on PSN, on the store, downloaded the demo, and yeah, just kept playing from them.
So immediately you were like, man, I don't like Marvel 3.
No, I love Marvel 3. To this day, it's one of my favorite games still.
Really? Okay, I've actually never seen you talk about Marvel 3 or anything, because I've actually talked with Acido a bunch about Marvel 3, and
yeah.
People don't know Acido is great at Marvel 3. He's amazing. You know, Acido is like, you know, the other top player who we'll talk about in the Brazil region for SG. But he's also I think he's like
he was one of the Marvel gods here from Brazil.
Yeah, like from Brazil, like he was amazing at Marvel 3, and like he beat I think he beat K-Brad, and then
yeah, he beat K-Brad on a semifinals, and then lost to Justin Wong.
Yeah, and it was like a pretty good set too, from what I remember. So, like definitely Acido's no slouch. So, but this is not a Marvel 3 podcast. This is an SG podcast. So
both very good games.
Yeah. But no, I just think that's funny that I never see you talk about Marvel 3 very much ever, but I can totally see you playing several characters, because if people don't know, Kaio actually like plays like almost like you make combos for like every other character in SG.
I mean, in Skullgirls, like I played pretty much everyone, but in Marvel I played a few people.
Okay.
Like I think my main team at the end was Iron Fist, Chris, and Strider. Yeah.
That is.
I used to switch up with Akuma a bit too.
Team.
It was very fun. It's definitely not the best. Like I have Iron Fist and Chris there, but it was very fun.
I guess like you kind of need Strider assist to keep people from like just jumping away from Iron Fist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
What's the Chris assist? Did you have the grenade assist?
No, I used the machine gun.
Okay.
I don't remember what they were called, but yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
I also need like a little bit of zoning for Iron Fist because yeah,
Yeah,
it's
because you
too
kind
bad.
of
Like
It's pretty
Iron
bad.
Fist
Yeah.
is really not gonna cut it. Chris is awesome though. Anyways, enough about Marvel 3. So
yeah.
So yeah, talk about so you got SG and just kind of immediately got into it on PC and everything.
Yeah, I was playing already when it came out on PC.
Okay, and it's just been smooth sailing from there.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I used to play like when I started, I played Philia and Cerebella, and only like after MDE I started playing Fortune, because now I'm like sort of known for Miss Fortune, right? But yeah, I didn't play her back in SDE and at the beginning of the game.
I never knew that you played Philia.
Like nowadays I don't really, but yeah.
I'm just surprised because I've known several players who went from Philia to Fortune, so I'm actually curious. I guess you're the first one to do that. So like, why did you do that? I'm curious.
I don't know. Like I don't know. I just when they started changing Fortune, I just tried her changes and stuck with it.
Stuff like when her JHP changed.
Yeah, exactly. The JHP was like the big one.
Yeah.
That's when I picked her up.
A lot of people may not remember, but Fortune's JHP used to be up for head-on. Basically, it wildly different in terms of how it acted as a button. The way it works now is, in my opinion, a lot more intuitive, and it feels like John Talbane's Jumping Fears from BSAV or something. Just a move that like pulls people down, which is pretty good for confirms and combos. So.
Yep. So thanks for the introduction, Kyle. For the people who don't know you, obviously, but I would say a good number of our community does. But Will, tell us a little bit about yourself. Some people might not know you as well.
Well, I started from the beginning. I started playing Smash actually, but only casual for my entire life, basically. Okay. And from 2015, I basically discovered the competitive fighting game scene. With Melee, and from there I discovered 2015 was basically the Smash 4 release, and I found out about a local scene here in Curitiba, and basically I started going every month to tournaments and thought it was really cool, and I started playing Skullgirls and about that time, but only casually. And then I don't know, I just grew up more competitively and just starting participating in tournaments. And when I saw, I just was running my own tournaments.
Yeah. So so you basically nowadays you run the brackets for a bunch of the Brazil events, right? Or at least that's my understanding.
Yeah, I help when I can, where I can. I run the local brackets for all anime tournaments here in my city on every weekend, and also online tournaments. Basically, everywhere I can help, I give a little help.
Oh, so do you help out other online scenes as well? Because I actually see you in a bunch of other games like Melty and BB Tag and stuff.
Yeah, I also commentate the Guilty Gear bi-weekly online tournament, and help with the brackets, also participate. But like I play basically all anime fighters.
Okay, wow, that's pretty cool. I had no idea that it's already pretty useful to have someone who actually helps run a scene and run brackets a lot of times. But it's actually pretty cool that you just do it for several scenes.
Yeah.
So maybe you can answer this for me, but in Brazil, are a lot of the anime scenes they smaller? Are they or are they big?
Compared to the main fighting games like Street Fighter and Tekken, they're really small.
Okay,
I think the proportion's about the same, honestly.
Yeah.
With the American scene.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Typically kind of rare. In some scenes, anime is larger, but in general, yeah, it's Street Fighter and Tekken are bigger.
It's not the mainstream.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's great. That makes sense. So, So with that, maybe we can start
Yep.
just going over our interview
Yeah.
questions.
Let's go over a couple of questions. Here's a good one for the both of you. So I'm addressing this to Will and Kyle. For people who haven't been watching the Brazil scene as much, so kind of newer viewers to them, can you describe some of the players, kind of what the Brazil meta is like? Like, do you prefer certain characters, etc.? You know, some kind of like, you know, Brazil specific stuff.
Well, I was watching the TRT stream after it ended, and I noticed that was only one player that ran trio. All the other players ran duo or solo.
Yeah.
I mean, but like Mercedes is still playing trio, right?
Yeah,
He's not
I think
playing right now.
I think he's basically the only one who still plays trio. As
I mean,
though,
I would. I
yeah.
kind of like dropped the game and just dropped Big Band because I didn't feel like playing him anymore. And I didn't like have like a meta focus on playing duo. It just, I don't know, it just kind of happened.
I was gonna ask like why you dropped Big Band since
Yeah.
you seemed kind of central to your team before, like just a.
Yeah, I just stopped caring, honestly.
Okay, well that's a straight. So do you just think the duo works better and you're just better with?
No, I just had more fun with it, and
Oh,
you know, I
okay.
just didn't really want to.
Okay.
Because I just like when I ended up relying on B Extend a bit too much and playing Big Band when I didn't feel like it. I don't know. I just want to play Fortune sometimes, and I get to play more of her now.
Yeah.
No, that's perfectly fair.
I think it's funny because like I think most people would agree that trios are stronger, but if most of the player base is playing like duos or solos, it's not fun to play trios. It's fighting that ratio can be tedious. Like it makes sense that like there's not a lot of duo players or a lot of trio players.
Like I'm not sure if it evolved to like a duo meta, like the way like the Brazilian community just evolved. It's kind of happened.
I don't think it's a meta thing. I think it's just the players
Yeah.
doing what they want
We
to
just
do.
don't have enough players to like have that much variety, and it just happened that we're playing duo now.
I mean, I think you guys have several players actually, but it's just funny that like most of you guys did just end up as duo.
Yeah.
Dabbling in trio, but yeah. Okay, that sounds actually pretty. It's actually pretty unique because duo meta is just sometimes what some players like me actually get frustrated against duos. That, like Safi said, I'm not a fan of duos really.
Is it like a solo thing? Because you used to play solo, right?
It's so for me it's solo or trio, and in both aspects I don't like duos.
I see, yeah.
Yeah, not a huge fan of duos.
So maybe it is better then.
Yeah, like so. To me, I hear duos and I go like, oh man, a region full of duos sounds like hell.
Yeah.
But no, I actually do think that's interesting, just because Oceania, like for example, they're mostly going to trios, and only recently are some of them like actually where duo players are like kind of coming out in the fold, So, I think it's pretty interesting that just regions will maybe have different ratios, and maybe one day there'll be a solo region.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, but yeah.
For people like me. So, but no, yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. Yeah. And can you describe like just some of the players that like we'll talk about a bunch of the players when we go over the tournament, but there's several like older players that I remember. Like we were talking about Yukayo, and we sort of introduced Acido, who is more or less like the second best, or kind of up there with you, like tied with the best in the region for SG. But there's also players like Noah, who's been around for a while.
Yeah, he's always been around too.
Yeah, like Noah.
For as long as like the game has been on PC, he's been playing.
Yeah, like Noah's been around in the scene for a while. He plays Parasol. So did he have Robo? I believe he had.
He did have her for a while. Now he's just playing Parasol and double, which is like his core has always been like the heart of his team.
Yeah. Like as far as I always saw Noah, like I remember him like with his Robo on the team. So
he used to play Philia too. It was always Parasol double and something else. He played Squiggly for a bit. I think he tried Eliza for a while.
Oh yeah, okay. No, it seems like a lot of you guys have been experimenting with teams and then just ended up on the duos. So
yeah, it's just like we have these two characters we like, and we have them like solid on the team and been trying some other characters, and then now we just gave up on trying other characters and kept the duo.
I'm actually fine with that. There's a lot of people who I know who just like two characters, but are too afraid to just play duo. And I don't think there's anything wrong with just playing duo. So
I think
Maybe that's like the way it happened for like all of us at the same time. It just happened.
it like really depends on the characters you play. I feel like some characters can shine in duo as well. Others kind of like the utility trios bring.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, and
like,
some offer a little bit more to trios too, because like for example, double would like offer a lot to two characters compared to just one character, you know.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's a lot more rare, I think, to see duo in actual or double in duos nowadays. Like,
Yeah.
Like sometimes Softy runs duo, or you have like JP.
I run duo into duos and solos, and that's it.
Yeah. He's more like a counter pick than what you would normally pick. So.
Yeah.
But okay.
All right, yeah. So I guess kind of bouncing off of that. Speaking of players, this question goes towards Will, and it's about like kind of the beginner brackets you guys run. For the viewers who don't know, Brazil occasionally runs a beginner bracket if there's enough interest. Just an all beginner tournament, kind of get people used to competing, maybe spark some drive for the newer players. So our question to you, Will, is like, who's like the brainchild behind it? Who started it? And then kind of how it's going on still.
Well, basically, I started it, and Kalesh and George, they ran before me the Brazil Sunday Showdown, and I think I should suggest them to make a beginner bracket, and then they were like, "Oh, okay, but we are already running BSS, so you run it," and I was like, "Okay, I run my own tournament." And I think it's really cool for Skullgirls, because Skullgirls is really intimidating game. A lot of players are scary because they see like people doing like half-minute combos, and they're really scared to participate in tournaments. So I think a beginner like tournament is more safe for them to have a first experience. And a lot of them like the tournament, and I don't know. I think it's really cool for Skullgirls.
Yes.
Do you run beginner brackets or anything like that for other games too? Like you said, you run other brackets for other games too. Do you also do like beginner stuff for those as well?
No, but recently there are a lot of other games that are running. I'm not involved with those. I'm just playing them.
Okay.
We had a few days a Melty bracket, and in a few days we'll have a Blaze Blue Central Fiction and a Blaze Blue tag, and participate in both, but I won't be involved with them.
Okay, I was just curious because you said that like, you said compared to like, you just said in general like the newer players to SG are like usually intimidated for several of these reasons. It's a scary game. That's what I was curious about. Do you think it's actually like a harder game for these people to get into versus the other games that you see people get into for when you enter those beginner brackets for, you know, like BB tag or whatever?
I think like a problem that Skullgirls. Yeah, like you can go ahead.
No, you can say.
No, because like a problem I think Skullgirls has is just that like the people who are good right now, they've been good for a very long time. Like I've been playing the game since like 2012. Like what other game people play that is this old, you know?
Yeah.
Like at this point, it gets pretty scary when you face people who've been playing the game for a while. And it's a lot of the time it's hard to find people who are willing to play with you who are also just starting in the game. So that's why I think it's really good, these tournaments, like these beginner events and things like that.
Okay, so
It's really helpful.
It's probably like the experience in SG being an older game at this point, whereas there's a lot of newer games out there now. So.
Yeah, but I also think the Skullgirls has a really big learning curve. So if a player is just a little bit better than you, he's going to win the majority of the games.
Yeah. Like I feel like that's part of just the reset nature of Skullgirls, where just by being a little bit better, you have like advantage in some resets, and the way
it can be really oppressive.
Yeah, the way like resets and pressure works is you'll just end up dying, and it's just a downward slope, you know. So.
Mm.
Okay. So to kind of continue with the question about the beta brackets. NA has like a parallel. We run our Skullgirls get greats, which is kind of like a beginner. The get great people run it. They let you do like a kind of a first to five, or you play 5 games with another person, and they have a commentary and kind of run advice. And they have a decent amount of turnover. We've had a good handful of people, probably like 3 or 4 people who not like didn't graduate from the beginner brackets, but they kind of kept playing and they've entered the normal brackets. What is like the rate of like newer players that get hooked on it? Like, do they keep playing? Do they kind of enter the real brackets afterwards?
Well, I think it could be better, but there are certainly a few players who stayed playing Skullgirls and like trying to get better at the game, trying to learn everything from participating in the beginner bracket. And we also like there are a lot of people who play this tournament who we didn't know before. Like there are a lot of players who we think, oh, I never heard of this guy, so he must be new. And turns out he plays really well, and then, like we just discovered this guy who is really good.
Oh, really? Do you have an example, like what players those are? Like
on the top of my head, I can't really think about.
Okay, no problem.
Maybe like players coming from other games and just like pick it up really quickly.
Yeah, stuff like that does happen. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's also like the guy who plays only quick play for like a year, and then later discovers that there's actually a scene.
Yeah, sometimes people just like show up. People who used to play like 4 years ago, and then they stop, and then they like try to get into the beginner tournaments and just beat everyone.
That's pretty funny. Another thing I kind of want to say about like running beginner brackets is I think they're not just good just because trying to get people to get better, but it's also just because sometimes all these beginners just want to like have fun and play the game, and just like kind of just run things and not have to like worry about like getting beat that badly, you know? Like sometimes it's just fun to just play other people around your skill level, and
Yeah, it just makes it like more accessible.
Yeah, they just get to see more players around like them that they can play with and everything. So this is in my opinion what I think I see from the Oceania when they run. They have a beginner thing called Scrub Club, which I think they haven't run in for a while. But as far as I saw, how it used to be was kind of less of a bracket or less of any big helpful tips for everyone. Just kind of a place for all the new players to just have a place to play and do fun things.
Yeah, we had a thing like that too. Like a guy just hosted an open lobby, and some beginners would play, and beginners would play.
Yeah, and you would have like an experienced players to kind of like moderate and give some advice there, but it wasn't supposed to be like it's not the same as a Get Great, which was like a feedback kind of stream where people go over the advice. No,
yeah, just... on our Discord, we also have a role for beginner. So in the matchmaking chat, if you want to play other beginners, you can use the tag to play people from your skill level.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really good too.
Yeah, no, I know that the Europe scene has that tag as well, and I would advise like any region or any like Discord like to always like have stuff like that. Just have you can have like a normal like LFG or normal like looking for games tag of some sort, but have like a beginner specific tag just for newer players to like help find other newer players, because stuff like that is always really helpful and nice, I think. So
yeah.
So okay, with that now, let's move on to another question that I kind of had for Will, because this sort of like leads into it, but because you were talking about like organizing a bunch of tournaments for other games and stuff, and while talking about the beginner brackets, I guess I just want to like talk about like, because now you run like the normal brackets and stuff for BSS or whatever you guys do now, right? I basically want to ask, like you guys now do like both a Swiss and a double elimination bracket normally?
Yeah, we like before we only did double elimination, but the number of players dropped down a bit, so we thought Swiss was a better format.
Mm-hmm.
But then later, like we started doing the double elimination once a month, and also the Swiss. Like we did twice a month the BSS.
Yeah.
And then like we gain access to Maturino. I don't know if you all know. But-
I'm actually not familiar. So Mandarin is the thing with like people donating and stuff, right?
It's like the crowdsourced
Okay.
Like-
Yeah.
like, pot.
Okay.
And then I had an idea to run once a month a tournament who was more competitive focused. So that is Brazil's special showdown, and it's a double elimination, and it has a prize pool.
Okay.
So it's also to encourage the top players from the region because they were not playing that much.
Yeah.
And then Acido and Noah showed up, and Resita unfortunately had his PC broke, so he can't participate anymore.
For people who don't know, Resita's another like older player who a lot of regions and people knew. He was a cool guy, really good player, but yeah, I guess his PC died, and as far as we heard, the financial situation for him is just not good enough to repair things, right? It's
It's gonna take a while.
yeah, I feel it, brother. So hopefully I get to see Resita again someday. So, no, I was gonna ask basically about. So you said like it was tough to get the newer or the older players to like come by again. So I guess this guy actually makes me want to bring up a point to Kaio that he brought up earlier, which is that like Kaio, you said you dropped the game for a while, right?
Yeah, I did. I honestly just picked it back up for the tournament.
Yeah. So
I didn't even pick it back up. Like I only played when I got there to the other city.
You still played pretty well, and that's what I was gonna ask. Is like, why did you drop the game for a while? Were you just not feeling it? Did you move on to another game?
No, I haven't been playing like anything. Just jumping on walls and stuff like that.
Jumping on malls?
Yeah, because like I basically just replaced video games with parkour.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
like actual parkour.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's sick.
that's actually awesome. What the?
I'm actually an instructor right now. Like that's my job. That's what I do for a living. So it just
That's
really
sick.
became my life now.
Okay, that's actually awesome. Like, this is not a parkour podcast, so
We can make it one.
I don't know if we should delve into that, but I think that's actually like really cool. But yeah, no, that's actually pretty cool, and at least you came back for this tournament. I don't know if getting into this tournament like made you motivated to kind of play SG a bit,
Yeah, I've been playing like a little bit of SG and them fighting herds as well. Like trying to get back into a little bit. It's been pretty slow still.
I did want to bring up them fighting herds, but I was maybe going to bring that up later. But I actually, you picked up that game and did a bunch of combo things for that game as well.
Yeah.
Who do you play in that game? The alpaca or whatever? With the...
You see, I picked the game up because I wanted to play the alpaca character, but I played Tianhuo.
Alright, well, I mean, I approve.
She's the Iron Fist character,
I
right?
approve.
So
She's sick
I
as
had to
fuck.
play her.
She basically
Oh
is.
my god, she has Iron Fist.
She's Iron Fist
With a
if
fly.
Iron Fist could fly.
With flight,
Oh
yeah.
my god, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's actually pretty. She's pretty great. Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll talk about TFH a bit later. So, but no, at least we squared away, and you seem at least a bit back in the game now. Definitely, I've seen like I don't know if Acido ever dropped off, but sometimes I see some players not enter the online brackets occasionally. But I'm always happy to like see the guys enter the online brackets, and everyone showed up for TRT here. So yeah, it seems all good. So with that, we can move on to the next question, which is actually it's not a question for Kyle. So basically, like speaking of making resources, this is actually something that maybe a lot of people may or may not know is that Kyle actually did a lot of combo resources for SG. Like he made a lot of videos just making general BNBs.
Yeah, like the B&B compendium. I'm so proud people still use that.
Yeah. No, like the BNB compendium is like used all the time. People refer to it and look at it.
We
it on
pretty
the
much
wiki.
like copy pasted it over to the wiki, like for a lot of the characters in like the combo section. A lot of it's just the copy paste from the compendium.
Yeah.
Everyone still uses those combos and like the
and everyone still uses a lot of those combos. So like it's
I love seeing that.
and that's what I just kind of like want to ask was like, before the compendium, they're like getting SG combos back in the day, kind of wasn't really fun. I don't really.
I mean, yeah, back in the day, like we didn't even have the Discord. It was just on Skull Hard.
No, it was just Skull Hard, looking at whatever random videos of like Ken and Black or
Trying to talk to
made.
people on Twitch streams and things like that.
Yeah, and back before you could make Twitch clips as well too. So basically, I was gonna ask like I feel like in terms of SG resources, you're kind of like the first one to really like push for like making general resources for SG. So, can you like tell us just like what pushed you or inspired you to just kind of like do that to like just make all these videos for the B&B Compendium, start just being the combo resource guy?
There were some sources before, like I definitely wasn't the first one to make them, like, but I just wanted to, I just wanted to have those tools, like when I was learning the game, when I'm learning a different game and trying to pick something up, like it's just kind of something that's really nice to have. So if I'm willing to make it, like I'm sure people can use it.
So you took it from the like angle, like this is something I wish I had, or I
yeah.
Now, okay. No, that's really cool. That's honestly that's kind of more or less the mindset that me and Gelato, mostly Gelato, but like me and Gelato had like when we were thinking about like tuna with bacon, or thinking about like the wiki for trying to revamp the SRK wiki, was just kind of these tools existed, and we wanted people like have these tools available that were good for people to use. So at some point you have to stop wishing for things to happen and just kind of do it yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
So okay, yeah, that makes complete sense. With that, like I actually do want to like get a bit into like TFH a bit, because you actually did the same for TFH, right? Like you actually made.
Yeah, I made like a little Tianhuo compendium, but it's right now it's pretty like out of date.
I was going to mention, so for people who don't know, like Tianhuo actually had like one of her jumping rolls got completely changed. So a lot of combos that Kaio made like just don't work anymore. I think like almost all of them don't.
No, I think some combos there still work, but
okay.
And even then, like I've been keeping up with the community and trying to help with what I can, but
oh really? Okay.
Yeah, I've been behind a bit.
Okay, but
I still plan to update it at some point.
Okay, so yeah, I was just gonna ask if you were gonna like actually like update that compendium for Tianhuo, because
I'd like to.
Okay, as someone who's like trying to learn Tianhuo, it's actually really annoying trying to find any sort of good consistent Tianhuo combos. I feel like everyone has like their own stuff, and I don't know like what's what.
Actually, just a few days ago, when I got back from TRT, I posted a few, like revamped a few BNBs and posted them there.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you want to, you have some combos there.
Yeah. I mean, I really need to start looking into stuff. So, but I'm glad you revamped it. Like, I had the old document saved, but I need to like start looking for the new stuff now. So, really, last question about TFH. It seemed like for a lot of people may not know this, but like I noticed like after TFH released, like a lot of the Brazil players actually started playing it. Like, I don't remember if you guys were still playing SG at the time, or if you guys like were dropping off of it. But it seemed like you guys were like not even doing the normal SG streams. You all were just playing TFH.
I mean, yeah, like we sort of picked it up when like it started coming out, when it got into early access.
Yeah.
And we did a couple of editions of VSS with TFH, but I don't know if more than one, but I know it did at least one.
I believe there was multiple. At least that's what I thought. But yeah, I was gonna ask. Like, I don't really see you guys play TFH. Is there still like Brazil players playing TFH and still getting into it? Or
I know Noah was playing it a couple days ago. Like,
okay.
I don't know. I've been trying to push it, but yeah.
Okay.
It's hard. It's not the most like, I don't know, inviting game in lots of ways.
It's definitely not. No. But this is not a TFH podcast, so we don't have to dwell on it too much. But I'm at least glad to see that some people are trying to like push.
It's a good game. Really good game.
It's fun. So, all right. With that, we kind of I think that's kind of like basically all of the normal questions we have for you guys. So, with that, we can just kind of go right into talking about TRT.
All right.
So,
Sounds good.
Can you guys introduce TRT a bit? So, because like a lot of this was the first offline tournament for you guys, right?
Yeah. So TRT, or also known as Treta Championship, is the biggest Brazilian tournament, also basically known as the Brazilian Evo. There's, I think it's from since 2010 maybe, but I've only participated since 2015. I basically, until this year, I just participated in the tournament and only played Smash. But like having Skullgirls at TRT was like a dream of mine, and I basically known all these Skullgirls players from Discord, and I know like they never had a big tournament experience, and I've like
I mean,
going
like
to big tournaments is like really one of the best things. And
we had some players go to
Yeah.
Combo Breaker and things like I went twice and Acido went once. Also, Whisk went to Combo Breaker and Evo.
Yeah,
So
I
we had some
remember-
players that
Yeah.
that have been to tournaments. But yeah, having one here in Brazil was sick.
That's what I was gonna ask. You guys, like, some of the players have been to a major in America, but like that's what I want to ask about. Is like, how was the actual like major you had in your home region? You know, how was that? Was it feel different? Was it?
I expected it to feel very different, but it was just very cool. It was like it felt very similar, just being with friends and playing video games. Just yeah.
Okay. Is it like is it? I assume it's like a really big tournament, or at least it's the biggest in your guys' region, right?
yeah, it's the biggest in Brazil.
Okay.
Like the only thing I have to compare it to is Combo Breaker, so it didn't feel that big. But yeah.
If you had one tournament to look at in America, it'd either be like Evo or Combo Breaker, really. So, but no, that's really good to hear. Was the overall experience like I've never been to TRT and I don't really know much about it. Like I assume like it's something that like you guys all have like positive, good experiences with, right? Like from when you.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like we didn't even have a place to stay. Like we had a couple people stay in Will's house, so he hosted us. It was sick.
That was really nice. Do you live far away from the event, Will, or?
Well, actually yes, but the event was really far away from like everywhere. It's
Yeah, I mean,
like
if you compare it to how far it is from my house, it's certainly enough.
Okay.
But like we managed to go there every days. It was like a 40-minute trip every time we went there.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty long for a drive, but at least it seemed to work out for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty great.
And it was also my first time helping like participating in TOing at Treta. I managed all the anime fighters. We had Dragon Ball, Unist, Guilty Gear, and then like those were the main events. And side we had Skullgirls and Blaze Blue, and also Melody Blood.
All right.
Will got second on Windjammers.
Yeah. We also had like
We had like an improvised tournament. It
an
was sick.
improvised Windjammers tournament with 100 reais pot. And
People just started giving money to the pot.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it was sick. It was sick.
there was one guy, shout out to Makina, who also runs a tournament in São Paulo. He donated 50 reais to us.
Okay. So I was actually gonna kind of bring up about all these side events. Like, how did you get SG going at the event? It sounds like you organized a lot of these anime and side games, right?
Yeah.
Did you basically was the way you got SG running was just because like you got involved with like the TOs and stuff and like said, hey, I'll run these games.
Yeah. The other 2 years, I tried to make Skullgirls happen, but it just didn't happen because, I wasn't involved directly, and also I just noticed we need to have a solid player base here to at least have a tournament. So, basically, I think it's a year from now. I started doing Skullgirls local at my city, and also the city that JRT is hosted, and just to make a solid player base to have at least a few players to participate in Treta.
Okay.
So
I think we had a pretty decent turnout for the first
yeah.
time it happened.
No, I think that's a good turnout for the first time you started.
Yeah.
Start running things. So, do you guys think there's gonna be like next year?
Yeah, definitely. I want to do this every year, and there was also a lot of players who wanted to come but couldn't for reasons. And then I want to have at least one big tournament that has everyone.
No, yeah. I'm. It's really good to at least have some event like that. You know, like I'm really proud of like the Oceania community trying to like get around together for like when they do BAM, when they had a recent other major as well with OHN. But it felt like you guys had a lot of good players, but you didn't really have a local thing to gather around. So I'm really glad you guys have your own event now to like just kind of call your own, and hopefully maybe some people can travel out at some point one day. So
Yeah.
but hopefully it's at least good that you guys have something established for yourself. That's what
Yeah. I'm already saving money for next year.
Nice. Yeah. So yeah, with that all the way, let's actually just get into the results. So in first place we have Kyle Lagone here as the winner. Second place was Acido. Third place was Noah. Fourth place was Plaxcaster. Fifth place Raposa. Fifth place was Will here. Seventh place, seventh and eighth places were Shovel and Hime. And there's a bunch of other players, but we usually just cover the top 8. But already, like, I kind of like just seeing. For me, I think I'm really happy just seeing Kaio, Acido, and Noah like travel out to a real local. So I kind of wanted to like, we're probably not gonna go in order. For when we talk about a lot of the players and matchups here, but one thing that I think maybe is going to be on a lot of people's minds is the grand finals, because when the grand finals happened, it was kind of like a heartbreaker in a way, because it was Kaio versus Acido, and Acido made
I was expecting to lose.
Oh, did you expect to lose?
Yeah, actually, no one expected Kaio to win. Everybody
I
expected
haven't played the game at all. Like this year, essentially, just play the game when I got to the tournament.
I hope
from watching the set, it looked like Acido kind of like he kind of just blundered a lot of like easy interactions, which would have gotten him like a couple games. And then you so hard to get momentum back.
Basically that's kind of like what happens. Just some interactions that seemed like Acido just kind of messed up, especially with the heartbreaker was just in the last game where he did
the car in the head.
Direction. Yeah, which was I've never seen, like, I don't know if you've played Acido. Do you know, like, he doesn't normally make that kind of mistake, right? Like, surely.
I mean, it was like he talked to us about like his thought process on that, and supposedly Mike did fix that. That wasn't really supposed to happen anymore, but
yeah,
I don't know. It was unfortunate.
Mike did bring that up in the chat as he was watching. Was that he saw like, oh, like I thought I fixed that, but there was something weird about what happened there. But as far as I know, like, Softy, you can confirm this for me, but like that's a consistent thing, isn't it?
Like the head hitting Fortune, or it's super consistent. Like I don't know what he meant by trying to fixing it, unless it dropped when I hit both of them before. But like it always happens like that now.
Yeah, I feel like even just a normal hit stun, like it still does that. So
yeah, Acido could have just gone to the left. Like there was no reason to carve from the right there, because you'll give it.
No, because he was afraid of not killing and being punished, because like Car has that thing where sometimes you can be punished after for not having your OTG.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't remember how negative you are, but definitely some characters can.
That's what he was afraid of. Like he told us like that was his thought process.
I believe it's actually like character dependent. I think I Control looked into it once. Like Bella gets like a medium counter hit or something like that, and some characters can't punish, but some do.
And this was on Bella, I think. So yeah, I think he probably was worried about. I think it was on Bella, right?
Was it? Because
no, it was on
Fortune.
So then I'm saying it's on Fortune.
But if it was on Bella, that could like explain how it happened. Because I don't know, maybe the head being like from the assist or something like that.
No, it was definitely on Fortune. I'm being stupid, but still, Fortune would definitely be able to punish. I think she's got fast jab and everything. So. But yeah, no, I guess that actually makes sense as why he did carve from that direction then. So, but all right, like at least we scared that away. And even though Esso like kind of had the heartbreaker in that game to me, I think like in general like his matches were still pretty good. So like one
Yeah,
thing
he's
is
always
that
super scary to fight against,
yeah,
regardless.
yeah. And you beat him twice, I believe, right? Like once. And
Yeah,
once.
I was really impressed by that. Like
That-
both times, I just lost one match. Like I wasn't expecting to.
Yeah, no, I know you weren't expecting to. I was gonna ask like I think I don't really remember, but last time I saw you play Acido, I think it was like in the first 10, maybe earlier this year or something, and like I think you lost, didn't you? Like it was like 10.
Yeah, probably. If it was earlier this year, then I definitely lost because I was already not playing.
Yeah, yeah. And that's also surprises that you went from losing that first to 10. I think it was like 10-4 for Acido, and then just all of a sudden you haven't played the game
Yeah.
still, and then you get to here, and just all of a sudden things work out. I was gonna ask, like, do you just think that I don't know if you think that you're powered up by offline or online or something, but do you think just Acido was off his game? You think, or
Yeah, maybe because I was expecting him to like do better in other games too, and he didn't. I was expecting him to take Marvel, and I think he got like 4th place, which I really wasn't expecting.
I don't know much about the Marvel community. In
He's
Brazil.
definitely one of the best. Like
He's definitely
without
one
a
of the
doubt.
best. Yeah, yeah, that I know. But I think when I talked to him about it, I think he said that there are multiple other good players there. So
Yeah, yeah.
maybe it was just an off weekend for him, honestly. And,
I think one thing I did pretty good was like keeping my composure. I thought I generally behaved myself pretty well in those games. Like I managed to stay like pretty calm and collected, and I think he was getting a bit frustrated.
playing against like Fortune and Bella, who are
Yeah, right.
very very easy to get frustrated versus them. So no, that actually makes.
And then you have something like the car interaction to happen, and just.
That was at the very end, but yeah, that would.
But before that, he already got hit by a super. Like the last hit of I don't even remember what it's called. Like her ground super when she's headless and she puts like the drill up, and you have. Yeah. The last hit when you're headless.
Yeah,
it has
that
a bigger
was,
hitbox.
that was unfortunate.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
I don't know why he jumped. You know, he could have done a lot, or it could have done a lot of things. But like, jump hard kick, heavy counter hit would be like optimal. But like, it's hard to punish that sometimes. I just go for medium kick, medium hard kick, or medium kick, hard kick, like on Fortune punches because she falls out of so much shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and he was also playing like multiple games at the same time. Maybe he was, I don't know, maybe it was a little too much.
Yeah, maybe he was just kind of like stretched out and everything.
Yeah.
So. Kind of sad to see, but like I still thought he was in general like playing really well. I thought he played well in the losers finals against Noah, which was also a pretty good set, I thought. And we haven't really talked too much about Noah, but I thought Noah was also just playing pretty well. Hope he had fun at the tournament. He seemed to do pretty okay. I don't know if he also dropped the game in the same way. Maybe.
No, he's been playing. Like he's pretty on and off with it, but he does get into it sometimes.
Okay, that's good.
And before the tournament, like for the 2 weeks before the tournament, I think he has been playing pretty consistently.
Okay, good. So yeah, good to see Noah. Yeah, like Noah had some good sets. We also have Plaxcaster, who I want to like mention, but like Plaxcaster is like he was like a relatively newer player to the scene. I thought like back in like 2015 or 2016, right? Like he was.
I remember him from like 2013, also when the game started, when the game got out on PC. Like he's been playing for a very long time. He used to be a solo Bella player.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But then he also dropped the game and got back and dropped and got back and all of that.
Okay. For people who don't know, Plaxcaster, he actually regularly shows up in the current BSS stuff. I think I always see him in the online tournaments and brackets and stuff. He kind of just sticks with the Bella Big Band. I believe he runs mostly beat extend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he usually picks Brass against Peacock, but yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of the games I see him, it's versus Peacock, so sometimes I see Brass, but I think in general I remember him using
Yeah.
So, no, he's a cool, fun guy. He's pretty good. And
actually, one thing he used to live so close to me. Like he was actually like I don't know the street next to mine he used to live in. The first time I got to meet him was in Curitiba. Like we had to go to a different state to actually meet when we lived like 300 meters apart.
That's pretty cool.
I'm not sure if that's pretty cool,
It's
but
funny.
yeah, it was nice to meet him, but we should have met before.
You probably should have met before, but
Yeah.
so I mean, did you guys just never like say like, oh yeah, I'm from here and I'm also from here? You know what I mean?
No. Like we did talk about it at one point, but we just never, I don't know, just never met.
Well, it's okay. That is pretty funny though. But yeah, so Plaxester did well. Will also got a pretty good placing in here. Did you think you did well, Will?
Well, my mind was only in running the tournaments, so I wasn't expecting to go that far. I've also played a ton of games. I played 7 different tournaments, and also run the tournaments.
Damn.
So I think I did pretty good in Skullgirls.
Yeah, no, considering that you were probably really busy and doing a lot of stuff. Like I definitely, I was gonna bring it up, but like I hope you like still had fun. Like so like tournaments can get really hectic sometimes when you start organizing stuff and having to deal with that kind of thing. So
you don't even know how much trouble we had in that tournament. Basically, and on the mainstream, everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Oh really?
Yeah, we had to go. We had to get another PC that we didn't plan to use it, and also a different capture card. Like everything went wrong, but we managed to go with a Brazilian word that I really like, gambiarra. It means I don't know, a quick fix, and we managed to run it, but I had a ton of fun.
Okay, like I'm really sorry about those issues, but it's good that at least you got it all working and everything. And
yeah,
and still managed to play.
At least the side tournaments, Scorgos and Multi, ran pretty smoothly.
Yeah. Thankfully, and like I guess it didn't translate super well that much to us at the viewers at home, but it definitely seemed that like it was definitely fun to watch. So whatever quick fixes and everything you guys had to do for these problems, I think it ended up being pretty fine to watch. So I think that's how you know you did a good job, is that like, man, you had issues, but like the people at home could barely tell. So
yeah.
So yeah, good stuff, honestly. So there's actually a player here who plays below you that actually he's kind of a player like I've been meaning to like ask about for a while, because I actually see him around. Is this player called Hime?
So he's from my region.
Yeah. So basically, I was gonna ask, like, he's a relatively newer player, right? Like, I just feel like I see him kind of a bunch, and
yeah, he used to be known as Snake, but he changed to Hime, and he mains like his main game is BlazBlue, Central Fiction. But he came recently to Skullgirls, like participating in our local scene. He actually won one of our locals, and I don't know, he just plays very solidly, and like I think his knowledge from other fighting games translated really well to Skullgirls.
Yeah, I see him in brackets, and I see him sometimes do well. So I just want to make sure I talk about them a bit, or get up to date, because it seemed like a relatively newer player I wasn't familiar with.
Yeah,
I'm familiar with Kaio and Acido and Noah and everyone, but like I'm just happy to see like a bunch of new players I've never seen. So yeah, no. All in all, I think that's probably I don't know how much I less to talk about in the tournament, but just overall, like I just want to say it really was a fun tournament to watch, and I'm just so happy that you guys actually got to like run your own thing for a change, and I just hope that you guys enjoy it and you guys just kind of stick with it. So
yeah,
It was sick.
Yeah, I only got to see Greg half of Grands because I was busy, but like I was very happy to see that it got so much like attention, and it's like this like Twitter buzz. It's like Mike tweeted out. I don't remember if he jumped on the main Skullgirls Twitter to tweet it out, but there's a lot of like attention. The
Mike also like donated at the end for our match arena. It ended up being like the majority of the pod was from the match arena and
which is
Twitch chat and everything.
It was definitely a thing a lot of players like saw and wanted to help donate to was help donate to your guys' match arena. So
yeah, I really wasn't expecting so much attention from us. Like I tried to my best to announce the word that we had our tournament, but I really wasn't expecting to be like this much, like the rest of the world knowing us.
A lot of people around the world like paying attention to other regions and stuff, like whenever big tournaments happen and everything. So I'm not surprised. So that's why I think, you guys like honestly like kind of deserve the attention and kind of deserve everything for all the effort you guys have done over the years and finally like turning out to everything. So I'm glad that like everyone came to support you guys, and I think like if you guys like keep up the work, like other regions will want to keep up with you and see your guys' progress and help you guys out.
Yeah, that's really really cool.
Hopefully the next goal. I mean, for me, the next goal I would like to see is I want to see like Reseda like fix his PC and hopefully make the next year's tournament. So, but we'll start with just you guys just keeping the scene together, and hopefully next year will be even better. So.
Yeah, it's been more alive than ever online.
Yeah.
It's been pretty nice.
So okay, with that, I guess we're done with our normal interview. Hopefully, Bonanza's is back, right?
Yeah, just muted for a bit. I can start us off with we did a Q&A kind of forum deal for some viewers could send us some questions. We have a handful of questions for both the Opiniondash crew and for you two. So we'll start it off.
I don't have the questions. Can you please?
I got them up. Yeah. I put them in planning.
Okay.
Okay, so I kind of just want to skip the joke questions because I don't really. Okay, so for the Opiniondash crew, this viewer has a friend who used to play a lot of Skullgirls, but now gets really salty because he rage quits when he plays and gets angry. How do we make him less serious about results and enjoy fighting games without having him having anger bursts after a few games?
Man,
you go ahead.
Maybe try to avoid online and play offline if you can.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Net play is frustrating sometimes.
Yeah. This is one of the reasons why I stopped playing. Like, it gets hard to deal with it.
Really? Because you just got so mad and salty?
No, I don't get that mad. It's just kind of tiring. It's draining,
Do you think playing offline like reinvigorated you? Well, I mean, you've been played offline SG a bunch, so.
Yeah, exactly. I think because since I had the place to compare the two, online started attracting me less and less.
Yeah, that's fair. That actually happens to a lot of players. Once they start playing offline, it's harder to get them back to doing online stuff. Were you gonna say something, Softy?
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, I guess if they're getting mad about when you're losing, I mean, if they're getting mad, that means they still care, So maybe try to fuel the competition a more healthy way. So get them to play like constructive sets, not so much I need to win. Kind of maybe restructure how you're playing, kind of go for improvement. Because if they're getting mad, it means they actually don't want to lose. And if they don't want to lose, they care about the game, So even if they're not enjoying it, they still care. So you can kind of build off of that.
One thing that helps me personally with not getting as mad is just spending more time in training mode. Just trying to find more tech and, I don't know, just playing by myself, I don't know.
No, honestly, sometimes I think training mode really is kind of therapeutic. Just it's just fun to just kind of do some fun combos and just kind of practice on a thing for a while. At least that is for me.
I've been trying to spend as little time in training mode as possible. It's just all I used to do. So I'm trying to make myself find sets more. And
so it's the opposite.
You kind of spend a lot of time in training mode, huh? So.
Not as much anymore, but at least I do. I just don't upload as much. I used to upload 3 videos a day sometimes.
You upload a lot of stuff. So. I'm not saying it's bad. It's actually a lot of great stuff. I just mean you were definitely training mode monster.
Now it's more testing, labbing routes out for personal use and getting some links more consistent. And that's not It hasn't gone very well, but I'm trying.
It's at least a process. That's fine.
Okay.
No, these are pretty good responses to that. So yeah.
So the next question goes towards Will and Kaio. If you could travel the world to play fighting games, where would you like to go?
Probably just Combo Breaker again.
It's a good
Yeah,
pick.
Combo Breaker it's one of the tournaments I really want to go, but like basically everywhere that I get the chance to go, I would like to participate in the tournament.
Okay. Is there any besides Homebreaker? Is there any other event that you kind of look up to or look like you would really want to go to?
Maybe see Otaku also. Like
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
next week.
like mainly after running the TRT, I noticed that the most fun I had was on side tournaments, and so I want to go to the bigger tournaments that have like cool side tournaments, like for Puyo Puyo Tetris, Catherine, all this sort of games.
Yeah.
No, so yeah, basically those kind of tournaments.
Yeah.
See,
Like,
like,
I
it's a really fun tournament.
Yeah.
Like just watching online, it seems really fun, and see Otaku with the games I like. So
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, Combo Breaker is a very fun tournament. I went for the first time this last one, and I was gonna go to see Otaku this now, but I decided to buy a motorcycle instead. So I'm kind of broke.
That's the best excuse for not going to a major I've ever heard. Like, I was gonna go, but then I got this cool motorcycle.
Yeah, I mean, it's sick, and I have transportation now. It's better than biking around.
So as long as, I hope the gas is fine on it. That's why I was worried with motorcycles is if they're gas.
It's very gas efficient. It's great. Very much worth it. I wish I was going to Otaku, but it was worth it. I wanted to go just to play more games. I don't know how I feel about only going to Combo Breaker for in person, and I could just I gotta boot up our Arizona local scene because we have players. It's hard to it's hard to organize.
No, we definitely know that a lot in SC, but as long as you got the players, hopefully things can get started. So.
All right. So the next question, this is again towards Will and Kaio. Do the Brazilians have any funny nicknames for characters in Skullgirls?
I mean, one that comes to mind is Peacock. I mean, you're probably not going to understand that too much, but we used to call her Pipoc for a while, which is just popcorn, but I don't know, because we had a player, he even went to the tournament to TRT. It was Vergate Spy. He was playing as Butelli in the tournament.
Okay.
He's an older player, and he played this white peacock palette, and he started calling her that. And it was just a meme for a while.
It's funny. It's just one letter off, some wordplay.
It's also yeah. I don't know. That's all right. Sometimes the nicknames don't have to be the best or even make that much sense.
I mean,
they just happen.
Fucking, we call Fortune Cat Bitch all the time. And, that's not a funny nickname. It's just we call her Cat Bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the American. More or less the American.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Do we have some names for characters or something?
I can't think of any more. That is the only one that comes to mind.
That's
fine.
That's good.
Good enough.
Right. So next question is going to kind of field towards everyone in the call. What potential sets are you looking forward to for Suyotaku, or do you have anyone you think is going to make any big upsets or just take the tournament? And it's hard because brackets aren't live yet, but is there anyone you're rooting for or you really want to?
I'm rooting for myself to take it all, baby.
I was gonna say the official endorsement we have from Opiniondash has to be talking about Bananas, and hopefully he does well in tournament.
It's gonna show
Time
the world.
To go. 0-3, baby.
It's gonna show the world the power of
0-3, you can lose 3 times.
0-3.
No. I'm gonna lose in casual too, so I go 0-3.
Ah, nice.
Hit him with the diamond drop.
That'll be the goal.
So you're still running the diamond drop assist?
Oh yeah, I'm running that to the tournament. You guys are giving away my secret technology. Keep
just down back. It'll work. I swear. Everyone down back versus Bananas.
Keep it on the DL.
Okay.
That's Taluda vibes with the grab assist for Pinwheel.
It's even worse.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's actually really fucking annoying. It's so good.
it's
Like,
so underutilized.
it makes you like up back versus double, and that's horrifying.
That's horrible, yeah. But in terms of players I really want to see, I mean, so there's actually like several people traveling. Like I think Adavase is going, and I don't think I've seen Adavase like travel to Otaku before, as far as I remember.
Who's
and also
that?
like, sorry, like Adivas or
Oh, right, Diva. Yeah.
Yeah, Fester's classic pronunciation.
These weird names.
Latino Flava, my boy.
Okay, let's not
Damn,
blow people up right now.
It's the Bully Fenster podcast now.
Oh jeez. But like no, I don't remember him going to previous Otaku, so like I think as far as I remember, I think this is his first one, and if so, I hope he does well.
I really like watching him. He's very fun. He also has always has a lot of tag and really cool
he's
stuff.
been doing well in the Chicago scene with Gelato and Jaluda, so hopefully he's gonna be on the rise now. Gelato himself is on the rise too, and I actually want to see him do well. I know he's been doing really well in a lot of sets and doing well in online.
Gelato did well last year, right? Was that like top 5?
I think that was combo. No, I can't remember.
Definitely not combo breaker last year. Last year's Otaku, I don't think he made the top 8.
Hell,
Yeah.
maybe it was top. Maybe he got 9th. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking about.
I honestly don't remember.
Here, I'm pulling the bracket up.
The thing I remember most about last year's Otaku was just Cloud doing well. And that's also who I kind of remember rooting for, is because I think Cloud is really good and he kind of got like he played pretty badly versus TJ. Let's be real here.
Oh, Mike made top 8 last year. Okay.
Okay.
Gelato got 9th, lost to Mike for top 8.
Okay. Yeah, I hope Gelato does well. I think he can certainly make top 8, and he needs a good result. He's super solid. And
what team is he playing now?
I don't know what point he's gonna run a common break or at Taku, but it's the para double Bella team, and he's been running varies per match.
He's been running point Bella, Parasol second, and an anchor double for like the past 2 months.
It might just be getting comfortable with it though. I don't know.
As far as I don't want to give away all of his secrets, but maybe we'll just share it on the podcast for anyone who's listening. I think he said he's mostly going to run Bella point for most matchups, and then for certain matchups he's going to go with Parasol point when it's favorable for her. So he's going to switch between the two orders.
It's a solid, flexible team, you know.
Yep. So yeah, mostly for me, just Kaio, Gelato. I'd like to see Ravioli do well, since this is going to be his first Otaku. Huh?
You said Kaio.
No, I tried to say Ravioli.
Okay.
I didn't.
I mean, if I was going, like, I'd love to try.
If you want to go, I'll root for you.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, pay for my ticket, for my.
I maybe one day, but no, I was rooting for Ravioli, who's going to be traveling from Portugal to see Otaku. I think he's going to have a great time, and I just want him to do well in SG. I think he's really hyping himself up to do better. So that's kind of it for me.
Okay. And that sums up. Oh, what about you, Will and Kaio? Do you have anything you're looking for as viewers for Taku?
I think I'm ready for Gelato too, and also Mikez. I really like watching him play.
I haven't actually been keeping up with too much that's been going on. Like, I haven't seen the brackets who's going to the tournament. So
it's actually got it's got pretty much most of the top players. It's got Sonic, Sage, TJ. I don't know.
I'm rooting for Sage then. Like, I want to see Sage
really?
do well.
Okay. Well, there you go. You have Sage. That's Kaio's pick. There you go.
All right. That's good. And that.
All right.
Yeah, that's all of our questions for the Q&A.
Awesome. So now that we're done with the Q&A, I think we're going to be wrapping up in general soon here. But before we go and give our goodbyes, Kaio, Will, do you have any plugs you want to do? Any kind of things you want to shout out? Link your Twitter, etc., etc. Anything you want to tell the fans?
If anyone's watching or listening from Brazil, like we have our Discord. I mean, it doesn't even have to be from Brazil. If you just want to talk to the Brazilian community, get to know us, we have our Discord.
Yeah.
Is it English friendly when you get?
It is, yeah. Like we don't normally speak English, but if anyone tries to, if anyone shows up, like I'm sure everyone would be happy to.
Okay.
Please come to Brazil Discord.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
But I want to announce that in this weekend we'll have a tournament here in my city, a Skullgirls tournament, in Saturday. And in Sunday we'll have Brazil Special Showdown. And well, those are the tournaments we're having next. But if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's CDV_Will. I don't tweet in English, but well, maybe I will.
It'll help people like me. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and there's also the Brazilian Skullgirls Twitter. It's Skullgirls BR. If you want to follow that, we keep up the
on Twitter, Twitch,
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yep. You guys like stream pretty often, or at least you always upload those VODs and everything.
Yeah,
we try
usually
to
like every weekend.
Yeah, every Sunday.
So okay, yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.